Hello. Came back. My emotional response here to accountability. I'm going to be accountable for basically the 30 years in my past. For any time I took actions that I don't perform now, or that I do perform now, and I didn't perform before. And that's why I have to be accountable about things right now in the present. And as such, one quote I read from Yesenia, posted up, of course I've seen this, probably this is one that's been shared. Full offense. But if I openly communicate the ways that your actions and words have hurt me, and you choose to ignore my truth, individual truth, not big T truth, not God truth, fuck that, because it challenges you. There you go. This is the big difference between God, religion, politics, all that stuff, and the individual. When I'm challenging someone that's personal to me, I'm challenging them, not their roots, not their ideas of the separation and the powers around us that are the capital T truth. The individual truth has to also be challenged. You choose to ignore my truth because it challenges you. It might be a question. It might be multiple questions, multiple choice, metafictional question. Then I won't feel bad for removing you. I don't have time for immaturity, manipulation, projection, or passive behavior. Believe that. Let's go through that list right there at the end. Immaturity. Immaturity means you do not answer something directly for what it is in the present. I seem to have a lot of people like that in my life. We're not going to discuss the past. My dad and Diana say, I want to discuss the past, not because I want to make you grieve. I want to get that grief out of you and out of myself. Because the one reason you have that grief is because I exist. Marcello exists. And your grief becomes. So when you look at me, you'll see that grief. So what do I want to do? Help with that. Not sit back and let it stay there. Like mold. Jean-Pierre too. Another one. The immaturity of looking at something only once when you actually experience it and keeping that perception of it and not looking at it again to find another perception and another understanding of it. That's immaturity too. And that's manipulation actually, because you're manipulating a moment in the past with only that past thinking of it and not looking back at something, because if you look back at it, it'll change the shape of it. But that's not necessarily wrong or bad or something you shouldn't be doing. In fact, that's something you should focus on, because guess whose individual truth you're living? Your own. My own. So of course I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ask everyone around me, my personal family, to do that too. Not because you have to do it in your own fucking life. I don't care. You don't have to, but you have to do that with me. There's a big difference. In your personal life, don't take those actions. I don't care. That's not my job right there. But if I'm connecting with you, it is. Projection. The projection of what your voice actually has inside of you. Take, for example, what Jean-Pierre had said. His projections on Jax. Of, well, she's paying rent. Well, Jax is paying rent because out of revenge. Well, that would mean there's added things to that context. Now, I'm around these people. I'm around the family. I don't see that revenge that you seem to have in your head, that you didn't ask about when it came out. If you ask those questions, furthermore, that's projection. That's saying that my ideas, my assumptions are okay. You cannot make assumptions, but I can. Even though I haven't met all these people, only met Jax, I can make all these assumptions about people I've never met. And I know what's happening to them, far away from them. Passive behavior. Passive behavior. One of my favorites, because I was involved with it for so long. I have to say one of my favorites in the past tense. Not anymore. The brushstrokes of life. I didn't want to paint my life the same way anymore. So there's no more passive behavior. No room for that. So the idea of this quote right here is very big. And I wanted to bring that up in the first 5 minutes because I felt it was very important and very delving into what passive behavior is, which is basically ignoring something, ignoring a question, or making the question seem like it's an attack. It's not only challenges somebody, but once it challenges someone and they don't like that challenge, they'll make it seem like an attack, like my brother did. Back to accountability. When people hide things or lie to me, this is personal here, lesson. It does not invite me to share about myself or be myself around them. So, look back at my past. If you notice, there were things in my past that I did do before that I don't do anymore. If you acknowledge it and see it in my face and my physical body manifestations, that's because of the people around me. That's how sensitive I am to the people around me. Hopefully you hear that, actually. When they get emotionally or spiritually stingy, I match their lack of effort. I'm not going to share with you if you're going to be stingy with that shit right there. No. Be emotionally and spiritually open if you expect me to be. Don't expect me to give you the answers and you give me nothing. Ain't going to work. That's emotionally hurtful right there. That's the pain of the spring of our lives. Born in 1986, you really think I want to bear the fruit of everybody's life? Because that's what that's asking. Without you being emotionally or spiritually connecting and offering the same thing, you're basically saying, let me take care of everything. Oh, shit. You're milking it from everybody. Not lazy. Didn't say that. Milking it, Jean-Pierre. I didn't say lazy. I said you're milking it. And that's exactly what this is saying. When you're stingy about your emotions and your spiritual self, what you actually feel, and the individualized truth, as Mom Wynn said, you don't want to hear the truth. I do want to hear the truth because it's an individual truth about what people feel about me. So myself can now set boundaries in that too. Basically, people are saving themselves from having to hear my response. It's right here. My emotional responses are right here. You can't hide from it forever. Active listening allows me to ask critical and thoughtful follow-up questions, which generates a more meaningful connection. Guess what? I'm doing active listening now. I'm not hiding from it, not shying away from it. In a whole year, it's a progressive step, obviously, but it is something that I've already had a tool in my toolbox. And that's why it's very compromising for others that have been close. Because never did that before to this level. Instead, I just sang to the same pitch of their lives. Embraced it. Still do. Difference is, you can embrace something by questioning it too. By critically looking at it. By meta-ing out of it and saying, hey, how would you feel looking at yourself being like that? I have to do that with myself too. And it's very emotional. But it's supercharged. It's fun. And it's not a hard question. If you're not here with me now, I don't want a future with you in it. But listen to the second part of this. I can't reserve a space for you in my future if you are avoiding my concerns and questions in the present. Not from the past or the future, but the present of what I'm asking and concerned about. If that does not concern you, what am I here for? In your space. Technically speaking, that's what you should be doing. Whoa. I will not allow myself to explain myself to people who choose not to be in a conversation with me. With me. Not just having conversations, but actually with me in that conversation. One important one that Jack's brought up for being a professor. I will not focus on failing students. Instead, I will focus on ones that exceed my expectations. Because the truth of the matter is, most people end up getting grades like myself. I got C's, B's, things like that mostly in the school system. And most students have. The ones that exceeded the expectations, even when we talk about people that don't go to school, that accomplish things, it's few and far between. So in the school system, it's the same story. Few and far between, and they're not taken care of in the same way as the ones that are marginal, like myself. But I'm using I'm using the toolbox that I do have now, because no one's trying to beat me down with it and say I have to be something else in that concern, or because of what I'm saying and shaping of my life. That's the wrong way of thinking of it. This is how you think of it. No, that's not it. Accountability. I'll spend 1 minute right now, just bring up a few things. The risk I'll point right here. I'm accountable for a lot that I didn't do in the past. I didn't spend time with people. I didn't put myself out there by driving with my brother, with my brothers, with Jean-Pierre, with Jax, and with everybody in my past. I didn't put myself in a configuration to be strong, to set boundaries at that point in my life. And I didn't do anything to stop myself from being erratic around people that literally I said. It doesn't invite me to share when people hide things or lie to me. It doesn't invite me to share about myself or be myself around them. So I be something else. And I've been something else for so long. Let me know in the comments what you think about accountability. About accountability and about everything that I talked about. What you think the emotional response is for you for accountability. And what you think about these understandings that I've come to, and how it could encourage all of you or encourage myself to do something different now for relationships. Thank you.